Oh my God, I love that intro so much. I love that. Wait, how does this work? I don't know. I love, nope, wrong one. There we go. Legit ladies spill the tea. That's hilarious. I would love to be on that show. But anyway, it's me. It's Sarah G. It's your legit witch MD coming to you from home only because we had a nor'easter today in New England and we were pounded with 8 inches of snow. So, Sarah Paranormal, who's behind the scenes today, is going to laugh about that, I bet. But anyway, just wanted to come and say happy Tarot Tuesday and to share some of my witchy friends with you. I have Kristina Marie, a psychic medium.
How you doing?
Hello. Living the dream over here in the snow. So you,
Um,
as you know, that I just said off camera that I pull a card for every Tarot Tuesday, and I did pull one while the intro was going. It's the Four of Wands. Very, very
That's fantastic.
kind of indicative of today in general. But what do you feel about that Four of Wands?
So I feel the Four of Wands is a cause for celebration. And I love that it's the number four because I've been seeing 444 like crazy lately. So of course it would be a number four card for me. Uh but yeah, there's reason to celebrate. There's cause for stability coming our way. And there's just lots of, and this can even be like personal celebration, even if it's not something like a big grand celebration, like
Yep.
a wedding or something of that nature. You know what I mean?
Right. Yep. So the way that I would look at this for not only that it's the number four, I love that you brought that up because we are in a year 8, so that is half of that kind of a thing. So we need to be grounded.
Yes.
We need to kind of settled within our home, and that's why today, being that we're all snowed in here in Rhode Island and in New England, that this card is really kind of very poignant because I feel like what happens is that when we get settled, we get to cleaning, we get to watching, we get to doing certain things that really kind of bring us back to that engagement of home or that celebration of this is my space. I can't go anywhere. I can't shop. I can't, go out and see the public. I really need to focus on what's important here in my home base. So I love that this card is, has come out today for Tarot Tuesday because what you said too, it's a celebration. Sometimes people that don't have kids, because I know that for myself and maybe for you too, we can't have those snow in parties like we used to have with like, everybody brings a bottle and whatever they have in their fridge and then we have a good time. That doesn't happen anymore, but that's usually a good time.
I know exactly what you mean.
Yep, exactly. It's no more of that. But anyway, so that four is really important for today. And I love that you also said that you see those fours all over the place. Those to me signify grounding. The fours, if you see any succession of numbers, it's supposed to really grab your attention and say, this is not normal. So pay attention, what's going on.
Mhm.
So, and also kind of being very grounded. And we need four corners, we need four directions, we need 4 suits, we need 4 whatever it is that you need. It's always the 4 that really starts the process, if that makes sense, right? Um,
Oh,
so
absolutely.
Christina, it's been a hot minute. How the hell
I
are you?
know. I'm
This
doing all
has
right.
been, I think, 6 years in the making of what you've accomplished and where you've been since when I first met you a long time
Yes.
ago. And I want to
Yes.
say, super proud of what you've accomplished because you've set your own tone, if that makes sense. You really gotten to where, you've kind of carved out your own niche. You've definitely been in a place that nobody else has really navigated and you've made it your own. So tell me about what you're up to.
So like you said, the last 6 years been a progress of me dabbling into a lot of the different things. Me trying to figure out what it is that really fits me. Lately I've been doing more Reiki. I've been doing more house cleansings and working with the paranormal, believe it or not. And I've been doing a lot of readings on TikTok, and I'm also building a Patreon. So I got a lot going on right now, a lot of different things that I'm dabbling my feet into, but it's all going to be really, really exciting as I really start putting it out there to people. Because I'm not going to
I
lie, I've
love
been kind
that.
of keeping it all. to myself lately as I'm trying to just really build my experience in the area, in these different fields, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it makes a lot of sense because again, you're not we're only human beings and what we can accomplish, we kind of have to morph and change as we progress within our lives, right? So starting off and I'm going to bring up the name change for you. For the longest
Yes.
time, you were Christine Marie Tarot. And now you've branched
Yes.
out into what really drives you and what you really kind of settled with. And I'm sure that eventually down the road it's going to change again. But now you're using the moniker of, um, sorry, it just left me like a brain fart. It's psychic medium, right? Now, a lot of
Yeah.
people would say that, you know, how is that how is one differential from the other? And I know what my answer is, but what do you kind of
Excuse me.
say that that would be for you? You know, because you're not just a tarot reader. Even when you said it's Christina Marie Tarot, you're not just a tarot reader. So how did you come to the conclusion that you could kind of jump the fence and go, all right, I'm doing it. I'm throwing it out there. I'm
Well,
putting it into motion.
because I am a medium, I connect with spirit. I do, when I give readings, connect people with their loved ones. I can describe and see spirit and communicate with them in my own way. So I felt that by being known as Christina Marie Tarot, it was very limiting to what people would think that I am capable of. And what they think I am capable isn't very important when I'm trying to get my name out there and I'm trying to help people, you know, because I can do more because my goal is just that. I want to help people.
Hmm.
I can do more than just read tarot and offer that, you know, mini therapy type session. Notice I said therapy type session.
Yeah, we have
Not
to tread very
necessarily,
lightly.
we can't replace this with actual therapy, okay? But you know, it's and I figured, you know, a psychic medium, it's like an umbrella term. You know what I mean? Like there's so many different things that can fit
Mhm.
under that terminology for me right now because like I said, I do those mediumship things where I do I call them house cleansings because it's initially what I do. I go in to cleanse the energy of the home. And while I walk through the home, and it's not necessarily a home, I've done office spaces as well.
Mhm.
And I feel out the energy. I communicate with the spirits there. I let the owners know what they are, what they're working with. And if it's something that I can help them with, if not, I give them suggestions as to where they can find the help, you know?
Right,
And
right.
this has been something that I've been doing a little bit here and there as I've been going throughout the years. And this is something that I am really trying to dive more into.
Mhm.
I actually have some things that I don't want to really bring up right now, but you know, I got some ideas that I want to branch off from with that. I forgot the original question. My ADHD
So
brain. Whoop.
that's okay. It is sort of like, how did you discover, and you answered it very clearly. How did you
Yes,
discover that it was
I
more
did.
than just a tarot thing? Now, I can understand that too because as you know what I do and who that I am, it's we bridge the gap through a lot of different things. And I love that you also had said it's not a replacement for therapy. It's supposed to give clarity,
No.
right? So even if we are
Yes.
doing readings with cards or pendulums or any sort of, or even just ourselves, anything like that is psychic in nature. So are you a medium? Absolutely. And you always have been as long as I've known you. And that goes without saying. And table tipping comes to mind. um, but right,
I'd
remember
love
that?
to join you in a session. Keep me in
Oh my
mind.
God, let's do it. Absolutely. Anytime. I'm just starting to get back into it. I've got something in the works for March, so we'll see what happens. But anyway, we'll we'll talk about that off camera. We'll get that together.
Absolutely.
So that being said, there's a lot of great things that you are really tapping into that, let's say, the layperson or somebody kind of coming on the scene may not understand or know. So could you give me some examples of what you really like to do? I know that you mentioned TikTok, which is sort of like the wide unknown of things. But
Yes.
tell me more about the Patreon, the TikTok. How are you connecting with folks?
Okay, so right now, I do a lot of just tarot videos on my TikTok, or that's what I've been doing up to this point. I'm actually doing a lot of creative different ideas, learning, teaching about sorry, trying to teach about different things and different healing modalities, because again, I'm all about trying to help the person heal in front of me, help them, teach them that they can heal themselves. So I want to teach about chakras and all different other kinds of things. Again, the things that I have learned along the way. So like these are all videos that you're going to start seeing coming out because I'm in the process, which again is my Patreon. It's the link is available on my link tree now, but I'm not officially launching it until the end of the month, which is my birthday. That's when I'll have like a full stream available of different types of content, meditations, Reiki, because as a Reiki practitioner, you can transmit energy through video and through, pictures and like through this, just like as you know. So like all different kinds of fun stuff you're going to find on my Patreon, and you're going to find little snippets of it on my TikTok. And I like to use my TikTok to really connect with people directly. I go live. I used to go live daily until I had to take a break for about a month or two to handle some things. And then TikTok punishes you for that. They'll
Yeah, the
push you back out onto
algorithms,
the
right?
People's For You page. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm in the process of rebuilding my presence in the algorithm again, but I do go live and I do little card pulls and I try to connect with people and let people know who I am, let people know where they can find me. And it's a lot of fun. And I also do
Yeah,
like group meditations and things like that through my lives once in a while. But it's
interesting.
fun. Oh
Yeah,
God, yeah. It's
I
great.
mean,
I
you
reach a
know,
lot of people.
oh, I'm sure you do. And because TikTok is across the board, you can connect with somebody who's, in another country and they're really resonating with you, and then that's it. I used to go live too, but I totally understand where you're coming from when you say it became a little bit too much and I needed to peel it back a little bit. And that's part of what we do and who we are. Again, because we are humans, sometimes we realize we have to refill our own cup in order to help and serve you better or give you better clarity, right? Those of you watching out there. So sometimes we do need to take a break, i.e., like today, and say, you know what, it's a snow day. I'm not going to exert myself. I know my kids are going to be in the snow coming in and out and asking for hot chocolate and all the things. So that being said, we're human. So I love the fact that you can connect on different levels with different people. And I've watched some of your lives and I've seen some of the videos that you are producing. And when you say ADHD energy, you're not slow. You're not slow. That
No,
speed factor is in there. And like the way that you are rapid fire delivering these messages, I'm just so
yes.
impressed by.
There's
So
no filter, and it's
I do.
once I turn, turn it on, it just goes, it's like the Energizer bunny. And then I go until my energy is depleted, which I probably shouldn't do that, which is why I needed to take a break.
Yep.
But I just love doing it so much. I love
I
connecting
know.
with people. I love helping people understand more about themselves, because sometimes it takes a tarot reading for people to tune in a little bit.
Exactly, exactly, because they're not paying attention, right? And then again, if they see the numbers like what you display on your screen when you are doing these TikTok readings,
Yes.
is that they're like, oh my God, I've been seeing 111 all over the place, or 444 for that matter. And like that is
Yes.
supposed to change your normalcy to say, pay attention. It's not ominous, pay attention, like pay attention. It's not Final Destination where the
No.
house is going to come crashing down about you. It's just about paying attention so that you can get some clarity about where your stance is and where you are. So I love that you are putting
Right.
that out there. You're cut from a cloth that not a lot of people can, you know, say that their entire family is kind of the same ilk that you are. But it,
Yes.
it goes to show you that that's your deliverance is so much different than most.
I
Also,
don't
you
try.
also do, which I want to tell the folks about, but go ahead. You don't try. I'll put a pin in that.
Oh, I try to stay away from, like, the toxic trends that a lot of the tarot readers on TikTok do. You know what I mean? I don't try to feed people what they want to hear. I tap into a collective energy, and I give that reading. And the people who are part of that collective are going to resonate and take that message with them. And I keep it real. That's what I do.
Yeah. And that's honestly what we need to hear a lot of the times, because we're not listening to the folks around us. We're not listening to our own intuition. Sometimes we need to hear it from a unbiased source that's going to say, hey, pick up your head, pay attention to what's going on, because these signs are coming for you, whether or not that
Yes.
you're listening or not, and they're going to hit you in the noodle. So go ahead and do it.
Yes.
But I think that that's great that you're giving little snippets of yourself. It really kind of is a testament to your character to be able to connect in this fast and kind of impactful way, if that makes sense.
Thank you.
Also, do you have a shop? Are you still doing events where you are selling items? Because you're very
So
creative
when
too.
I am, and I appreciate that compliment. Because one of the things that I love doing is making like jewelry out of crystals, like costume style jewelry out of crystals. But I did take a break from that,
Mhm,
because I did, like you said, sometimes you have to reevaluate before you overwhelm yourself and take a look at where you know your priorities are. And I needed
mhm,
to take a break from that. It was a bit overwhelming running the shop and trying to explore these other avenues as well. Because I was, excuse me, I started going for my Reiki. So I have my Reiki
mhm,
level 1 and my Reiki level 2 in Usui and Holy Fire Reiki. And now I just need to go for my master's so I can teach.
mhm,
Um, and it was just too much trying to do all of it. So I
mhm,
decided, I did the shop thing. You can still find some items because I do have some items left on my website, which is when you go through my link tree, you click on the book
mhm,
a reading portion. That'll bring you to my Square site where you can book a reading or some Reiki or what have you. And as well as the bottom of the page, look at the few items that I have left. But
mhm.
I'm not going to lie, I really am bit by the bug of my making of the jewelry. So when I have time, I'm going to make some pieces, and I'm probably going to do a separate website for that, um,
Mhm.
at another time, to be
Yep.
determined type of thing,
Yep. We'll talk about that when it comes up. I think that that's
Exactly.
really because one of the things that I remember about you is that you don't have your ears pierced. So what you were making were these beautiful cuffs, right?
Yes.
And so you were making these
Yes.
beautiful cuffs out of crystals, and I thought they were so great. So again, I can't wait for you to get back into that when you eventually do. I know that you're going to hit it out of the park as you have everything else.
What I was
Let's talk
doing
about.
before that
Go ahead.
sorry, I wanted to just add
No,
that one
it's
of the reasons why
okay.
I'm making this changes is what I was doing before is I was making costume style jewelry, so it wasn't like sterling silver or real gold, with the crystals, and I want to make that change. So that's why
Mhm,
it's taking me a little bit more time because those metals cost a much different cost nowadays than they used to.
mhm.
So
Yeah,
it's going to be
exactly.
exciting, and I have some great ideas coming. So again, to be determined, but I just
Okay.
wanted
We'll
to
definitely watch out for that. And if you're following Christina Marie on any of the socials or even part of her Patreon, you'll probably see a little bit of inspo stuff that happens therefore after.
oh
Um, so I want to talk about the Reiki portion of it because now how am I going to phrase this question so that we can kind of like it's phrased in my head. You know how it's like, okay, head, mouth connect. But
yes.
how are you utilizing that energetic healing within your readings, not just for the collective, but for the actual people that you kind of, because I feel like as a reader, what we normally do when we deal with energy, it's kind of like we're already using some sort of properties of Reiki anyway. Maybe we don't necessarily understand it to be Reiki, but we're using them
Mhm.
already if we haven't already learned that practice. So how do you feel like that is helping you, or if that's kind of bringing you to the next level?
I definitely feel like it brings me to, especially learning the things I've learned, undergoing my Reiki trainings, is that I definitely feel like it's bringing me to a next level of being able to read people. And And not just to be able to read people, but be able to read a space and to be able to read a room, and then be able to cleanse and take care of whatever negative issue is has arisen, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Um, excuse me. When I typically give a tarot reading, you know, I do, with permission, send the person in front of me a little bit of Reiki. You know what I mean?
Of
To help
course.
them through that healing moment, you know. But typically a session of Reiki is a whole different experience, because when I do Reiki, depending on the need for the Reiki, okay, if you're just coming to me because you want just, you know, you're feeling groggy, whatever your symptoms are, I'm going to go in and tap into that chakra, figure out the cause of these symptoms. Is it physical? Is it spiritual? Is it mental? You know what I mean? Do you need to consult
Mm-hmm.
an actual medical physician for this? Things like
Mm-hmm.
that. I mean, if you're experiencing any actual physical symptoms, you should go consult a medical physician. Okay. Um, but there are sometimes, you know, there are spiritual reasons and emotional reasons and energetic blockages that cause some of these physical and emotional symptoms. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So if all else fails and you haven't figured it out, then you come see me as a Reiki practitioner and we can sort that out.
Mm-hmm.
Disclaimer. Okay. But with that being said, but yeah, like with giving Reiki, I can also simultaneously read you and
Mm-hmm.
talk about different traumas that might be blocking you. But I don't like, but like that's the difference. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't be giving you a reading and then give you Reiki. I'd be gonna give you Reiki while and then give you a reading while being connected with your energy.
Of
You know what
course.
I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like on the flip side, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Um, One of the things I really enjoy doing is aligning chakras, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but the thing with that though is that sometimes with some people it can have some side effects. You know what I mean? Some
Of
emotional
course.
side effects, things like that. So it depends on the person and it depends on what they got going on. Listen, like talking about Reiki, my hands are like starting to get on
On
fire. So
fire. Yep, of course. Well, if you feel like
it's
you want to give
going.
Reiki to anybody who needs it, send it out there the way that you should, that kind of a thing, because they're on fire for a reason, you know?
Oh, they are. Every time I just talk about Reiki and they just they go, and it's
Yep.
amazing to me because like in my mind's eye, I can they literally look like they're on fire with like purple
Mhm.
flames and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And I've had that
Mhm.
experience when after I was attuned for my level 2 holy fire Reiki, which was really a really cool experience. My attunement was a story to be told. I'll tell you what, it was such a cool experience. But I'll be happy to send out some Reiki to anybody who wants to receive it. Um, I figure we can do, with tomorrow being Valentine's Day, maybe we
Mhm.
can help with some de-stressing and some self-love. Send
Mhm.
some love
Mhm.
everybody's way. Give me 2 minutes. Well,
2
it'll take two
minutes.
minutes, but
That's what she said.
all you have to do is just be open to receiving the energy.
So as she does this, is it okay if I talk, Christina?
Mhm.
Okay. Thank you. So as she does this, what she is doing for everybody is to kind of project some energy, so to cleanse and heal and move things forward for yourself in the terms of self-care, of self-love, right? So you may feel a little bit of tingling, you may feel a little bit of like a little, warmth that envelops you in certain areas, and I'm not saying those areas. It is sort of like you're just feeling a little bit better. You take a breath, you'll feel a little bit better. Her energy is going to just surround you with light and make sure that you are in the right space to receive this healing. Reiki is the purpose is to make sure that their energy is transferred in a certain way. So when we clear and we align those chakras, what we're doing is that we're transferring that energy. I like to look at it like puzzle pieces. Sometimes when we're a little bit out of whack, we have to put those puzzle pieces back in. It's sort of like a chiropractor, So we're putting those puzzle pieces back, and what she's focusing on is that self-love.
You're going to feel this more in your heart chakra, your chest, and your lower and your upper abdomen. Okay, you're going to feel it all right here. You might even feel a little push, and like she said, a tingling sensation. Okay, if you feel any type of emotions come up, maybe the urge to cry, just flow with it. That's just blockages that you've been holding down and
Mhm.
holding in. Okay, any nodes of negative self-talk come your way right now, just knock them out the park, man. Just replace those with love affirmations. I am beautiful, I am powerful, I am courageous, I am strong. Different types of self-love affirmations. We're going to close this out. Ready?
Mhm.
Ooh, I just got chills. How'd you guys feel?
Yeah.
Woo.
So
What
what
I love about this is that I receive while I give, you
Mhm.
know?
Mhm. Yep. And again, it is that transfer of energy. It is sort of like when she's talking about receiving the energy right back, it's sort of like a filter. So what we're doing is we're trying to filter that out in a really positive way. And again, if it's that negative connotation of whatever surrounds you, especially around this time of year, that get rid of it. It's not there for any reason except to hinder you. So that's what that kind of healing is for. So, Christina, thank you for that. That's amazing. I'm so
Oh,
glad. I,
absolutely.
if you look in the comments here on the side, you can see that there's a lot of people. Hello, everybody who's tuned in, but there's a lot of people who are talking about that they felt it. So having that little bit of warmth or a little bit of a buzz, in those areas, that's what this is for. It's supposed to just move and align things like a puzzle piece, put them in the way that they should be. So I'm glad that you could do that for all of the people that are watching and listening. Nobody's done that on my show, so I'm so glad that you could do it. But yes,
Absolutely.
flush out that spiritual baggage. We don't realize what we carry on a day to day basis, right? We don't realize that. You could be carrying stuff that you went through last week. We got to be able to flush and get rid of. So again, talking about those, if there are any sort of feelings, whether you feel emotional like you want to cry, or if there are emotions that you are feeling based on what this healing is supposed to do, it's supposed to let it
Mm-hmm.
go, let it out, right?
Yes. Yes. And you need so in order to receive the energy I gave you, you need to let go of something. You need to get rid of something, okay? I hate to use this analogy, but a trash can, okay, gets full eventually. You got to take it out. You got to empty
Hmm.
it so you can add more to it, right?
Hmm.
So it's the same concept, right? When we're talking about negative energy and blockages and the things that hold us back, we want to look at it as trash. We
Right,
want to throw it out. We want to get rid of
right.
it. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? So
Of
if you
course.
wanted to receive it, you're going to have a release. Okay.
Exactly. And I think that a lot of people are under the impression that, trash doesn't necessarily mean all of your deep traumas. That's not it at all. That's a whole entire different sector. This is, when
Yes.
we go to bed at night and you're thinking about, oh my God, I should have said this differently, or I should have said, have a nice day instead of whatever, you know what I mean? In those awkward moments that we carry on with us, we have to be able to release them and let them go. There may be pieces of trash, but they're just discarded moments of our lives that we can effectively let go in a certain way. It's not the deep seated family traumas that we're all trying to stop. That's Reiki
Right.
in different sessions could help with that, among other healing modalities. But this
Yes.
is your day to day junk that you pick up. You can't button your pants, and you're like, ugh, right? And that stays with you for a couple of days, and you're like, I can't wear my favorite pants because I can't button them. That's letting that emotion go. So what? Who cares? And we're moving on, right? So if that made
Right.
sense to everybody out there, please, if you are watching and you do want to comment, we are here, we're watching. So Christina, thank you so much for that. So I love
Oh,
that you're kind
absolutely.
of going into this Reiki because it's only going to bolster what you do on the daily for people, just based on now that you
Absolutely.
have an actual concept or an actual kind of process in place when it comes to energetic healing?
Well, once I become a master, I'll be able to do all kinds of different things. Like, I want to be able to teach people how to use Reiki in their day to day lives. You can put Reiki in your food. Okay. You can put Reiki just in your clothes, in your makeup, so you can practice glamour magic. Okay. Using Reiki. Okay. Like, anytime you want to set an intention, you can also add Reiki energy to it. So you can, it's fun, and I want to be able, I have to have a master's in order to teach how to do this, but I can advise those who are Reiki practitioners that you can do these things. Um,
Mhm.
excuse me. But there's more than just those simple day-to-day lives things that you can do with Reiki. There's also, it helps me when I work with like the paranormal and things like that too,
Mhm.
you know?
Mhm.
Like, I've had experiences removing portals and dealing with the Hat Man and things like that using Reiki.
Mhm.
So it's just like it's the Reiki journey is an experience to be had. So I'll tell you that
Yeah.
much. Like, it's incredible.
Mhm. I love that. Obviously with energetic communication, you are going to witness different things. And because you are already considered a medium and you are, being in that the medium, literally that term is just to bridge the gap in between the two worlds, right? So because you
Right.
are already effectively doing that, that energetic communication now has been heightened based on the fact that now you know and you have a process. So it wouldn't surprise me that having the basis in Reiki that you do now, that you are getting more downloads or more information based on location if you are doing any sort of investigations. Um, I think that that's really important to talk about because the people who do paranormal investigations are not necessarily sensitives or mediums. They're going in to kind of see cause and effect, right? But you are like, I can see all of these things now, and I know what they're
Yes.
trying to accomplish by
Yeah.
what they're telling me energetically.
Right.
So,
Right.
yeah.
It's a
Have you
different
done any
experience.
Yeah, absolutely. Have you done any investigations where you've noticed that there's now a change in your energetic communication?
What do you mean by
That's
that
like a
question? A change in
that's
my
like a trick
energetic
question.
communication.
So you know how like again, you've always been a medium in what that you've been able to do, but now because you have a heightened
Yeah.
sense of that energetic communication, do you feel like I can see you 100% different than I did when I walked in and I didn't have that energetic kind of process or that Reiki behind me? I'm just curious, and it's not a yes or a no question. It is kind of
No.
like, if it's betterment for you.
No, I mean, when it comes to being able to, did Reiki heighten like my abilities to communicate with spirit? No.
Okay.
My abilities to communicate with spirit are, I want to turn them down sometimes. I want to turn it off sometimes. Do you know what I mean?
I do.
Like, they don't, I know you do. So like, I don't need to heighten this any more than what it is. I want to
No,
shut
yeah.
that radio off sometimes, you
Right,
know?
right. Yep,
Uh,
and I think that what I was saying was that do you notice that there's a difference in clarity? And I'm just curious from my own purpose of like, does that make sense? Do you know what I'm saying? Like now that you know where the chakras go and you know exactly how to move that energy along in different ways, do you feel like your connection with spirit changes therefore? But it doesn't. You know what I mean? It
Not for
might be
me,
the
no.
Yeah, it might be more of that you know exactly what people need more so to heal.
You know what it is, and I hate talking about it like this because I don't know, I feel weird, but I'm going to be forward with you.
Yeah, of course.
Um, Reiki and all of like things like this that I'm doing, like you said, like comes naturally to a lot of
Mhm,
people. I
mhm.
went through the certification process so I'm being respectful to the practice. I've been
I love
able to
that.
do everything I've been doing all along. Do you know what
Yep,
I mean? Like, it
I
hasn't really
do.
changed my abilities. It's just given me
Yep.
the right to say, "Hey, listen, I I did it the way I'm supposed to do it. I can practice this. I was trained just like everybody else, even though honestly I've had the healing touch my entire life. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
I've
Yep.
been able, none of this has really changed. But maybe when you say maybe like my understanding and the clarity of things, like yes, not
Mm-hmm.
necessarily my way of connecting with the individual person, but it helped me understand energy in and of itself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And us as spiritual and energetic beings and that concept in and of itself. That's where it
Mm-hmm.
gave me a lot of clarity, because I kind of always, I swear to you, I was indoctrinated and I went through all of this in a previous life because as it's like it was like a review. You know what I mean? As I am
Mm-hmm.
going through and learning the chakras, I'm like, I know that. I knew that. I knew that. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? It
Mm-hmm.
felt like
Yep.
reliving World War II in history class again. I remember that. I remember that. I remember that. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
it's that's that's why I'm saying like I was already
Yeah.
indoctrinated into this practice,
Yep.
I believe, in a previous life. So like I was born with the ability and just to do it the right way, I went through the
Yep.
attunements properly. And
Perfect.
even my Reiki master acknowledged that. She said it would be pointless for her to transfer energy from her to me because there are some instances where the pupil is I don't like the way that she says it, but has more energetic power than the master. And that was the
Mm-hmm.
case in our circumstance.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
my attunement processes were through a meditation form
Mm-hmm.
where I was I was initially attuned. I hate talking about this. I was initially attuned
You
by
don't have to.
certain. I'm gonna just leave it vague, okay? I was just
Yeah.
initially attuned in through meditation by certain ascended masters, okay? Which, like I
Perfect.
said, was a
Yes.
gnarly far out experience that I hope to be able to pass on to some other people someday. You know what I mean?
That's
When I have my
cool.
masters.
Yeah. So I loved also, that you were honest about it. Hi, everybody who's popping on. I'm sorry that I'm not saying hello, but as you're popping on, I should say. But I really appreciate the fact that you said it like this. You're not being ostentatious. You're not being over the top when you say that we have these properties within us anyway. What you did in following the certain protocols to get attuned and get your different certifications is perfectly normal. That's what happened with me with tarot, to be honest, right? So I took a
Right.
class and it was like a light bulb went off and I was like, I know these cards. I know them. I don't need to keep going. Like I mean I did, but it's the same concept, right? Once you feel that you have the ability to do something and you then decide that you're going to go through with learning more about it, taking any sort of classes, it is more of that you are doing the right thing at the right time. So I'm glad that we kind of went on that little bit of a journey to get there because it's not changing because you are now attuned and now that you have Reiki under your belt, that you are seeing things differently. It is more of like,
Yeah.
now I know the process of, yeah, that's exactly what sometimes there's not a word for it, but that's exactly what I was doing anyway. So
Yes.
that
Exactly.
happens.
Exactly.
So for those of you watching and listening, that happens. You know, we are always works in progress. We're always learning different things about ourselves. And sometimes when we have those moments of, I feel like I've been here before, I feel like I already know this stuff, I feel like I've already, right? Then you're like, okay, so that's just giving you the affirmation that you're doing the right thing and for the right purpose. So I'm glad that we kind of went on this weird little journey to get there, but it makes a lot of sense. So, for those of you who are wondering, we are all energetic presence. We are all part of energy. And so, what happens when things go awry is that we have to move it. And when you get a reading, whether it is with a Reiki practitioner or somebody who is attuned in you know, whatever schooling there is, what you're doing is you're changing that
Mm-hmm.
energy. Right. So I
Mm-hmm.
love that you did that. But I liked also that you're bringing this more so into the practice. It's not just that you are reading people to help them today, you're reading them to help them going forward. You know,
Yes.
like you want to give them a little gift and say, all right, now you're going to open that little box and it's going to change tomorrow. And then you're going to open again. It's going to change the next day. Right.
This Reiki journey has been just that, a journey. From the moment I accepted the first attunement, you know what I mean? And I say it like that for a reason, you know, it's a receiving of energy. So you have to
Yes.
be open to accept it, right? So from the moment I accepted that attunement, I felt like I accepted a responsibility to actually practice the way it's taught. I felt I accepted a responsibility that one day when I teach it, I want to do just that. I want to help other people. Listen, I feel like if you know how to heal yourself and you understand your energetic body, that's one third away from being a healthy human being, right? You got to
Hmm.
be mentally healthy, spiritually healthy, and physically healthy. And in my opinion, that's a healthy human being when you have that
Hmm.
balance, or what I like to
Hmm.
call, because again, this is my opinion, a holy trinity, you know?
Right.
You
Right.
need that trio, you know?
You
Um,
do.
and when you practice Reiki and you practice Reiki on yourself daily, right?
Hmm.
And you make that a habit of providing yourself with that, utilizing your own, okay, but providing yourself with that life force energy and perking up your own chakras and perking up yourself. You're keeping yourself healthy, okay? You're keeping your energy healthy. You're keeping your aura healthy, which, and when you keep these chakras attuned and healthy, that helps more with your mental symptoms and your physical symptoms. You know what I mean? And then you might
Hmm.
find that you might go and break a leg and then there goes your root chakra. You know, it's all off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's they all affect each other. So it's a
Hmm.
balancing act. So it's something that you have to be able to practice. And it's a
Hmm.
journey. And I've been through such an intense journey, and it was so much fun for me that I want to be able to share that. And I believe that everybody should have this knowledge and everybody should be able to do this and experience this for themselves. I'm going to cry. Oh my God. And experience this for themselves. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Because
Yeah.
it it changed my life in a different way, you know what I
Hmm.
mean? Then
Hmm. Yeah.
it taught me a new healthy way of taking care of myself. So it was a whole
Yeah.
new way of self, so
Right.
it affected my life in a much different way than an energetic spiritual way, you know what I mean? So it's a
Yeah.
new way I get to help people. I
And you
love
know what? I think that's incredible. I can also testify to the fact that when you initially were indoctrinated with this ability to help people on a different transaction, right? And be able to embrace that spiritual side of yourself, that was another form of this journey, and that's the beginning part. And where you're going, it's like, it's just more of you're healing yourself in order to help other people, and
Yes,
that's not where
exactly.
you came from. That's not where you came from because you didn't know that you needed it,
No.
and now
No,
you
no,
do.
it took a reading with you, okay? Like, full disclosure, I did not read tarot. Okay, yes, I was a medium and I had these energetic experiences and all of this stuff, but I never really connected all the dots until I had a reading with Sarah. This was
Mhm.
back in like what, 2016, 17, something like that. I don't know how
Yeah.
many years ago it was.
Yep.
Something like that, anyways. And
2018 maybe. I don't know. I can't
yeah,
remember.
it was a while ago, and
Mhm.
I was I was just starting down my own
Mhm.
spiritual path and learning more about my own spirituality in a different way, you know? And it took that reading with you to really set things in motion for me. So quite honestly, I wouldn't be right here right now if I didn't have that reading with you. You know what I
Oh,
mean? Like, there were other people who may have pushed me in certain directions, yes, but initially you planted the seed. You know what I mean? And if you didn't
mm.
do that, I
You
probably
wouldn't
wouldn't be
be?
doing what I do right now. So thank you.
No, and you are so welcome. I mean, that's the point of what we do, right? So if that is kind of the litmus test of what we do, it's not to better ourselves, it's to better the people that we're working with. And that's what you're
Yeah.
taking that knowledge and making it your own and going forward with it better than I could ever do in the way that it needs to be done for you, right? So, I mean, that's what energy does. It's like one gift to the next, to the next, to the next, right? So I appreciate that you say that. I know that you're always, You always got my back, that's for sure.
I do.
I know. Same, girl, same. But this idea of doing things, so I'm gonna kind of backtrack a little bit. Obviously, brain is
Yeah.
not connecting to mouth the way that it should be. But obviously doing things more on a virtual platform. Do
Yes.
you feel that, you have some of those naysayers who are like, you can't do this? Because what you did, you clearly affected people by what the Reiki that you just kind of gifted to us in this setting. But do you feel that you have naysayers that say, oh, you can't connect with me virtually? I need to see you in person.
You know what? There are those people, and most of those people who say that are the people want who don't want to receive it. The people who are the naysayers are the people who are coming to my page with the intentions of naysaying. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
I
They're
sure do.
trolls, so to speak. You know what I mean? I find that the people, especially the people who actually follow me, you know what I
Hmm.
mean, and not, I get all positive feedbacks. The very few times I get negative feedbacks are people who are trying to make a message or whatever fit their narrative, and it just
Hmm.
won't work.
Yeah.
Or if it's a Reiki healing like we were just referencing, again, it's the naysayers who want to naysay. And again, if you don't need that energy, you're not, and just because you don't feel it doesn't mean you didn't receive it. And that's
Right.
the thing people need to understand. You might not feel it the moment that I'm sending it to you, but you're going to find like little changes here and there are going to happen and be like, oh, maybe it did happen. Maybe it did work. Or maybe you may not even realize you received it. Okay. And it just does
Hmm.
its magic within you. Excuse me. But I find that the most time, excuse me, it's because maybe they didn't need that energy. Do you know what I
Hmm.
mean? Maybe the
Yeah.
self-love energy that I sent out, some of these people didn't need it. You know what I mean?
Nope.
They're fully
They were
content
good.
with themselves in that
Hmm.
way. You know what I
Yep.
mean? And that's okay
Yeah.
too. And
Yep.
I feel like when it comes to energy, yeah, sometimes you're going to have people who aren't going to connect with you, whether it be virtually or even in person.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I think that also what we do too, in the sense of if it's a collective, what you just did, a collective reading, people or a collective energetic healing, it doesn't necessarily have to resonate for every single person. So if it is that you felt that warmness or that tingle today as Christina was working on us, or if you don't, like later you might decide, I'm gonna go to bed, and you have the best sleep of your life. You have the best sleep tonight, and you dream about somebody that you love, and you have that epiphany moment of whatever you need in
Hmm.
your dream. You wake up, like Katy Perry on those fluffy pink clouds, and you're like, that's what it was for. So you might not feel it right away, but then on the other side of it, you'll get it in other ways that will make sense.
Exactly.
know, and self-love doesn't have to be, "Oh, I'm gonna go get my hair done, my nails done, my" that could just be, "I just need some quiet moments to myself. I just need to listen to my favorite song on repeat for a couple of minutes," and, that's all it is. It doesn't have to be spending money, it can just be spending time within your own self and kind of just appreciating who you are.
It could also just be thoughts of love and compassion in times where you're normally really hard on yourself. You know
That's
what I
true.
mean? There's so
Mhm.
many different forms of self-love, and the form in which you need is personal to you and what you're going through, you know?
Right.
And that's why I say, even though, yeah, I do a lot of collective readings, take them with a
Mhm.
grain of salt. You know what I mean? Because they are connecting to a collective of people. So bits and pieces might resonate with you. The whole thing might resonate with you. None of it might not resonate with you. And
Yeah.
that's okay. Maybe the next video
Mhm.
does. That just means I look at it like this: energy like a radio station, radio frequencies. You know what I mean? Where we're from, we have like what, 92 Pro FM and Light 105, right? I might be tapped into 92 Pro FM, but you're listening to Light 105. So you're not going to hear or be able to receive or understand the message that I'm sending because you're not listening to that station. But
Of
everybody else who's
course.
listening to my station, they're going to receive that message and they're going to be like, yeah, all right, I feel this person. I connect with this. This makes sense to me. Do you know what I
Mhm.
mean? It's all
Yep.
about connecting with that collective of people. So that's
Who
what
need
people
it.
don't understand.
Mhm.
Collect these videos you see of these tarot readings, take them with a grain of salt. Make them, if they resonate with you, take that as a sign to book a reading with that reader and get that
Mhm.
personal one-on-one experience, because that's when you know this is definitely for you. You know what I
Right.
mean? Just because it came on the For You page doesn't make it for you.
Right. Right.
I don't know
Right.
how many times they're going to tell that to people.
Like it's
The
not literally
comments I
for
get.
you. It's for you. It's not for you.
Yeah.
That's funny. That's really a great way to look at it. It's when we do things for the collective, what we're doing is that we're hoping that it's like a target, right? So if
Yes.
we're archers and we have these arrows and we take them out of our quiver and we try to hit a target, we might not hit the one that we're looking for, but we're going to hit something else instead. And that's what it's all about. I'm hoping that this
Right.
message goes to the intended person that needs to receive it, or the intended energy
Right.
that needs to receive it. And you're not going to hit
Right.
every ball out of the park, but what you are going to do is you're really going to resonate with people that need you. And so, how do people find you? I know we have your link tree up, but how do people generally find you? Do they contact you strictly on TikTok, or do they find you in other ways?
So if they wanted to book a private reading with me, typically I would send them through my link tree and click on the option that says book a reading. Okay, there you
Hmm.
can book a reading with me. You can book Reiki with me. You can find information on how to book parties. Like I still do parties and
I
different
still do
appearances and
parties.
things like that, because that
Hmm.
is so much fun. Okay,
Uh-huh.
I do mediumship. So if you want, a group of your family members come in and want to communicate with grandma, I'm down. Let's do that, right? But you can do all of that under the book a reading option on my link tree. And I push and promote my link tree on all my social medias, which you can also
Yeah,
find my social media links on my link tree, you know?
right down here.
So
Right
my
down here.
TikTok, my Facebook, my Instagram, I'm building a YouTube. I got like 23 subscribers or something like that.
Yay.
And I know.
Woohoo.
I got almost 9,000 followers on TikTok, which I'm excited about. I'm going to hit that 10K this year. I just know
Do
it.
they
I can
give you
feel it. I'm
something?
excited.
Do they give you
I don't
something?
think so.
Oh,
Uh,
it's not like YouTube where you get like this.
Hey, congratulations and your notification. I don't know.
I don't know.
It's not like YouTube
Yeah.
where you get these little plaques and things.
Mm,
Unless maybe you hit 1 million followers or something.
right,
I'd like
right,
to do
right.
that. That'd be cool.
Hey, let's make it
Someday.
happen. Let's make it happen.
Um, but yeah, that's where I'm at right now. Again, I'm working on my Patreon. It's being built. Posting right now. It's officially going to be released and launched on February 27th, my birthday. But you can sign up early and have early access to everything I'm posting as I'm posting it now. So again, you can do that through the
Mhm.
link tree. It's the first option,
Right.
Patreon. So yeah, it's gonna
You
be fun.
mentioned you mentioned, and I'm laughing because one of the first, I think it was a table tipping session. You just mentioned, if you want to talk to grandma. Remember your grandmother came through and you go, I don't want to talk to you. I
It was
still
not the
don't.
grandma I wanted to talk to. I know. I'm
I
sorry. It
know.
was awful,
No,
but we
don't
didn't
be
have the
sorry.
best of
It was
relationships.
so funny. It was so
Yep.
funny. Because I still tell people that story about, hey, we don't get to choose. Sometimes they just come through the way they come. They,
No.
they see the light on and they're like,
Yes.
we're opening the door. Oh my God. I think
Yep.
can I say the name? Is that okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Was it Grandma Sisson that came through? Who was that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was my dad's.
I
It was my
remember.
dad's mom. Yeah.
That's
She
so
was in
funny.
life. She was a very unhappy and depressed individual. It was not very pleasant, right? So we never got
Yes.
along. So I was shocked that she came through, of all
Well,
people.
she
Like
came
I was
through,
expecting people
remember?
from my mom's side.
Remember
Yeah.
she came
I
through and she was blowing cigarette smoke at us and we were like, Like, she literally was blowing it in our faces, and I was like, "This lady," and I'm
Mhm.
like, "I don't know what all this is all about," but she's, like, literally making sure that we smell it, like, blowing it in our
Yes.
faces. Oh my god. So,
Yes.
those
'Cause
of you
that's what
watching,
she
you
would
may
do.
not
She would
pick.
do that.
Yep.
You
We may
don't
not
you don't
pick.
get to pick who you get your message from, okay? You may want to hear from grandma, but you might end up hearing from grandpa or Uncle Ted, you know what I mean? You never know. You're gonna hear from somebody though, you know what I mean? That's
Exactly.
so funny that you brought that
I
up.
always say to it's so funny. I always say to clients, I can always ask them, and sometimes they don't wanna come through because they're like, "Meh," they don't really
Don't have
care.
much to say. And it's not
Yeah,
personal, and that's the hard part is explaining to the client, like, "Please don't take this personally. It's not because they don't love you or care about you, it's just spirit it's different. It's different." You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
you need the
yeah,
message from this person right now. You know what I
exactly,
mean? That's just how it
exactly.
works.
So, I think it's one of your followers said, "Christina cried when she talked to me." Hey, we do that. I
I
I
do,
cry. I'm
yes.
sure, yep, you do too. It's that Pisces energy. It's that, that flow that just happens. We can't let people cry
Mhm.
alone. It's just gonna come out. Like, it's just
No,
gonna
no,
happen. But yeah,
no,
I do
yeah.
the same thing. And I think I posted on my page a little while ago, and this is a really great kind of way to end it, is that we feel the same, and it's that energetic, just like, you felt your hands were on fire, you were ready to go. We feel that energetic
Yeah.
presence within ourselves. So it wouldn't, of course, we're going to cry. Of course, we're going to feel sad. Of course, we're going to feel some of those emotions. We don't know them, but we feel the same way that you do.
Right, we're
Right.
connected to you energetically right now, so we're feeling what you're feeling, man. You know what I mean? At least that's the
Hmm.
way it is for me, you know? So I'm just
Hmm.
like, oh,
Yep.
I
Same way
do.
for
I have a
me.
hard time. I'm just like, I'm gonna
Yep.
cry. We need to stop.
Yep, exactly. Exactly. And I always, and I love when at the end of the session you hug that person and you're like, "Yep, I'm glad I made a
Yes.
difference." Right?
Yes.
So,
That's the best feeling.
mhm, it's the
That's why
best.
we do it.
So, that is why we do it. So, Christina Marie, you're the best. Thanks for being on the show tonight. Your link obviously is right down here. For those of you looking to book a reading or to follow Christina Marie, her socials are all there as well. Highly recommend. She's one of my favorites, and she's got a lot of good things coming. So, thank you so much for being on.
Well, thank you so much for having me. This was so much fun.
Yeah, it's just a conversation. That's what we do. We get witchy. So, those of you watching, we will see you next Tuesday. And it's Tarot Tuesday,
Hey.
so make sure so make sure you pick your card if you haven't already on my page. And I will see you guys all next week. Thanks so much.